slowly and quite loud so I can get the complete sentence.
Okay. You look very attractive today.
I've got bags under my eyes. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I'm going back out on the field tomorrow. It's my last day off. And I'm in my new apartment, Sam. I've moved into my new apartment.
How wonderful. Well, you sound perfect. You sound perfect.
Okay.
It's an honor for me to introduce a friend who's also going to be a non-paid volunteer field reporter who's responsible for everything that she says, and I probably support 100%. So I feel awkward introducing you because you're like a so close friend, but I'll say you live in London, United Kingdom, and you are an end-of-life doula, which is like that's like a chef, right?
Amongst many other things, I am also an end-of-life doula. That's that.
In her own apartment.
In my own apartment. After many years of traveling far and wide to study with the best.
Now, just to review the rules for all field reporters, the topics are two. One, anything you observed that you feel enhanced consciousness. That's topic number one. And topic number two is focusing on the most underutilized resource on the planet, women. Anything in those two areas are open for what you actually observed, and what you felt, your perceptions. And you are a perfect source for that as an end-of-life doula. So let's just cut directly to the meat of the thing. When people are passing on and you've helped them approach this path, what lessons have you observed?
I would say, in my experience of my work as an end-of-life doula, working with a lot of elders who are in the process of transition, the most important thing to date that I've learned is that life is very, 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 very fragile. Human life is very fragile, and we need to learn how to live more presently in the moment and appreciate the moment that we're given to breathe life. That's been the most important lesson with every single client that I've worked with. It's made me feel a deeper gratitude for life that I want to share with people.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. Now, I'm positive that you experienced some pain as you acquired that knowledge. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Because when you're in a position where you have to watch people in a lot of pain themselves and suffering because they've come to a point where the human body is no longer serving them physically the way that it used to, and they haven't realized over a period of time that, you know, this body is not going to last forever, and they've kind of maybe taken advantage of it.
Yes.
They've taken advantage of it. And us doulas, we have to sit with them through this pain process and suffering, this physical suffering. And
yes.
for me as an empath, whatever my client is feeling at the time, it's very important that I have access to that deep feeling that they're going through, the pain, so that I can know how to navigate them through their transition period. So that's the pain that I experience when I'm doing my work.
Yes. I got a visualization of an Indian canoe with the person in the back steering. And
Mm-hmm.
as a speech and language pathologist, communication is what you just described, your feelings and helping this individual navigate this path. And your inner thoughts are the same traits that are required for a field reporter. So those persons listening who are helping a loved one make the transition, what guidance suggestions do you have?
Suggestions I have for a loved one making the transition is to be there, to be as present as possible, to listen. Listening is very important for someone that is making the transition, because eventually they're not going to be able to speak anymore. So I'd say just being totally present, listening. And I think affection plays a big part in our elders and our loved ones, especially when they're making a transition, because physical touch is so important just in healing. You can touch somebody in a way that's going to heal their whole soul. So I would say just, the whole hand holding, the gentle touch, the listening, the eye contact, letting them know that they're not alone is very, very important.
The communication aspect of listening can last quite a long time, even though the rest of their body is debilitated.
That's right.
And actually, listening is, as you know, it's a vibration that's felt by the eardrums, and so it's a feeling like touch. It's just a very gentle touch. And when you have entrainment, when you bond with your patient and their communication skills decline, your empathic, and I will say telepathic, communication skills compensate.
Definitely.
Which is both a blessing and a burden.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
well, Mother God made wine vineyards also, so you can.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Sauce, for making red wine.
Now, you provide a lot of different skills because you have a various backgrounds in the healing arts. And I didn't want to just rattle them off, but is there any ones that you might want to make some mention on that you have witnessed or felt consciousness was enhanced, or that the underutilized resource of women was improved?
That's a very good question in regards to doula work, because I find that every skill that I've mastered has come in use throughout my life, from performing arts to healthcare in general, to public relations, just communication in general. It has been my theme, like a life theme when it comes to education. So when it comes to doula work, that left brain knowledge just kicks in when it needs to, because I meet a lot of elders who have worked in the arts, for instance, or a lot of elders who have been in two world wars.
Yes.
So my PR skills have to kick in pretty quick, and adapt. I have to adapt very, very quickly. But I would say the most prevalent one that I use the most is my spiritual mediumship skills. And that is because in my work, when I'm very close to transition, when they're very close to transition or in the last few days, their ancestors make contact with me.
Yes.
So I'm able to say, is that your black cat? Your cat's here.
Yes.
And it's always animals that show up first for some reason. It's always pets that show up. And even if they haven't told me that they've had a pet, it could be a childhood pet, like a little hamster or something. I'll smell dog poo, and I'll be like, well, I can smell dog poo around here. What's going? Where's this? Right. Or I might see like a little bird in the corner or something, and for me, it gives them a sense of comfort that they're not alone, that there are people there or animals there that they recognize to meet with them.
Yes. To elaborate, and if you don't hear me clearly, raise a finger or something, sign, so I will start again. To elaborate on that, any animal that someone has loved unconditionally continues to live on in the etheric space. And when that person makes the transition, pierces the veil, recognizes that they just undressed a suit of flesh and they're now more alive than they've ever been.
Yeah.
There's the cat, the dog, the donkey, the fish, the turtle, all of these animals. So there are sparrows in trees that no one's ever loved.
Right.
And when they decease, they hit the ground and they turn into dirt.
Right.
Any sparrow that a human being, and this is proof that males are gods and females are goddesses, any sparrow that has ever been loved by a human being, when it deceases, it stays in an etheric state, just flying in this unconditional love energy. And when the person passes, they're just as happy.
That's beautiful, and it's true. And I definitely bear witness to that because it happens. And it's a beautiful thing to experience with somebody that's in transition as well.
Now, since you can hear me clearly, I'm going to talk. Is that okay?
Of course.
Oh, I just want to share with the audience that you're not going to find a death doula. They're not hanging out there at the 7-Eleven. So this person here has some unique experiences. In addition to being a beautiful soul and a beautiful person, she's going to be a field reporter for the Sam Bell Show. This program will be on Sam Bell Show on the Facebook thing. You can click on it. And for this show is going to be Amunet. Am I saying that correctly?
Amunet, yes you are. That's correct.
Amunet. And the Recovery Enrichment Soul Organization, this worldwide fantastic thing, how's that doing?
Well, it is actually, and you should know how to pronounce my name properly by now. You know that, Sam. Really.
I know. I know.
I'm going to let you off because we usually call each other loved one anyway, so that is good enough.
Yeah.
So I have Recovery Enrichment Soul Therapy, REST, which is an organization founded by myself, which is a holistic elder home care service, which is in its incubation process. I'm still very much pregnant.
Don't swear at me. Don't swear.
Sorry. Well, I'm very much pregnant with this business right now, this organization. She's getting ready to, plant herself on planet Earth. That will be with us shortly. And that will be a global service as well. So it will be something that families, and it's dedicated to families. It's dedicated to helping families to help their elders in their twilight. I call it the twilight stages. In their twilight stages of life. Yes. But rather than just relying on external healthcare services, it will be like a family-based care planning, if you like, so that families can rotate amongst themselves to take care of their elders who wish to stay at home.
Yes, yes. And that works for allowing the families to recognize that being in the now and prevention is something that pertains to everyone, not just themselves.
Right.
So if your child is ill or you are ill, it affects them.
Right.
And it's an opportunity for a family. It's an opportunity for a family to bond in ways that is avoids a lot of pain.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when you learn the truth from someone who sees these pets that come from the other side and sees these aunties and grandparents that come from the other side,
Yeah.
and it confirms there's another side, that answers something that no pharmaceutical company can
That's
provide.
right.
So I'm just saying in conclusion, this is a death doula who can do some wonderful things, help that loved one and the family. It's kind of like a chef,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
Social chef, maybe.
Yes. And it is, and I think the beautiful thing about it is that my mission really is to bring back holistic healing. Because what I find
Yes.
is a lot of our elders are very scared of the death process, the physical death process. They're very
Yes.
fearful. And I feel
Yes.
that's because death is something that is not openly spoken about. The beauty of it is not openly spoken about. And people are suffering and they're frightened. So what REST mission is to bring holistic healing modalities into the world again.
And a female is doing it and elevating consciousness, right? So for individuals who are in the healing arts and feel a certain empathy for the hospice, for the end of life, considering that occupation as a profession will enhance consciousness on the globe. Every single sucker out here is going to kick the bucket someday. So we're all going to need a death doula, you know. So that's plenty of work opportunity, and we're not stepping on anybody's toes.
No, we're not, because what I plan to do with REST is to work alongside external care services, healthcare services. We're not stepping on anybody's toes. We're just contributing to what's already there from another perspective, from a holistic perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a family perspective. So, yeah, we're not stepping on anybody's toes.
No, no, absolutely not. And I would, just one more compliment, I would suspect that when you have a death doula who does exchange communications from the other side, that the transition could be something incredibly beautiful as compared to a feeling of tremendous loss and agony.
Right.
And that is a unique talent.
Yes.
That's worth a whole bunch of money, right? It's worth a lot of
It's
money,
worth
right?
a lot of money.
You got to pay for the apartment in London.
It's worth a lot of currency.
Or is it you just have the flowers? You have the flowers in the background, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
The chair.
and you have that plants everywhere. Flowers. So,
Okay, well, sweetheart, I want
can I
to.
just
Yes.
back to the second part of your question about women being underused on the planet.
The most underutilized
most.
resource
I
on the
really
planet.
feel that.
It's the solution for the planet.
I really feel right now that it's really important for us as women to start taking humanitarian work to the next level. And the reason why I say that is because I think that what has happened in society is that women are becoming very masculine because of the pressures, because of the pressure on just living in general. And because of that, I think a lot of the healing modalities that were given to women that come from within us very naturally are being forgotten.
Yes.
Or they're being suppressed because we have to
Yes.
be maneuvering in this society so masculine, you know, just to get things done, just to pay bills, just to live. We have to become very, you know, our
Yes.
masculine energy is being used a lot more than our feminine energy, and it's there within all of us women. So I think it's really important that a lot of us women reattune ourselves or realign ourselves with our healing hands, and the healing
Yes.
skills and gifts that we have naturally.
Yes. Well, that is the only strategically critical component to acquire those skills is wanting them, desiring them, because those are resonances that are already out there for hundreds of thousands of years. And these are morphic resonances that are held in space. You know, like you go in a room, something really good just happened, you feels good. You go in a room, something really bad happened, you're just like, I don't feel good. Well, the whole world has had the maternal aspect keeping it alive. And as the electronic age inundates us with noise, unwanted sound, distraction, it gently pushes out the normal empathic matriarchal resonances. Um, so I'm just in complete agreement with what you're saying.
You know what? We need more red tents.
What
Well,
does
you
that
know, in
mean?
ancient days, women had their own sacred space that they would congregate in at
Okay.
certain times of the month, like
Mm-hmm.
the menstrual cycle time, where we would go and
Mm-hmm. Sure.
we would share our sacred practices
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
being a woman, women together. And
Mm-hmm.
think it's time that we kind of brought that back. And I think it's coming back because more women are congregating together, trusting each other again. And I just had that thought when I was thinking
Yes.
about the natural healing abilities that we have, that we need to share it more. I think women need to share it more.
I experienced that for the first time when I was living in New Zealand, and I had a group of midwives who were friends. And they would just get together and have the best old time, and there wouldn't be a man around, and they didn't want a man around, and they didn't need a man around, and we don't need a man around. You know, we can get that motorcycle done or whatever. And they called each other aunties. I'll go get my auntie. You know, and that's any woman in the place is her auntie. So, and I was like, well, that's interesting, you know, because it kept the men in line. You know, in a tavern or something, some guy is, you
Yeah.
know, rude. She goes, I'll go get my aunties, and you're not going to, it's all over. Well, that in conclusion, young lady. So if people want to comment or request information or contact you, they can go to the Sam Bell Show Facebook page where this show will be posted and can rant and rave or whatever.
Ask
And
questions.
Amunet will
Yeah.
be responding to it inconsistently because she goes on duty. She's on duty. How does that work in
How
conclusion when you
does
go on
say that
duty?
again, darling?
How does it work when you go start with a
Oh,
patient? Do you stay like
it
a week or 2 weeks or
it
for
could
the
be a
duration?
week, 2 weeks, because I have to go do a care plan, do a risk assessments, meet and greet families, train staff, train caregivers. So anything from depending on how long my client has. Sometimes I walk in the door and then the doctors are
Yeah.
like, this person has 24 hours. And I look at them and say, no, they don't. They're just depressed right now. And then other times it could be a day, it could
Yes.
be a week, but in general, maybe about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to really put together a proper end of
Okay.
life care plan and train the carers. So about 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm going tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to be off the social. Anyway, in conclusion, one more time, the name of your
The name of the
organization.
organization is Recovery Enrichment Soul Therapy um, .org.
.org. Yes. Well, loved one, you're always in my prayers. You
Thank
get
you
to work
so
now.
much for having me and
Jared, are
for
we
this
okay?
interview and this. I will be back with a field report shortly. And have a beautiful day. Peace, love, and light to you and Jarrett. And I love you both.
Yeah, he's
Mwah.
over here.
Peace.
Okay, take care, love. Bye bye.
This is the Jarrett show. No.
It's the Jarrett show.
Well, he wanted to. So I'm the co-producer. I'm going to be behind the cams. If everything technical happens, I will solve it. And I don't know.
What did you say? Did you say you had some tofu?
Tofu.
That's what I heard. That you had some tofu. Did you say I had some tofu?